Okay, this is lecture number 12, and we had covered the agriculture. We started agriculture in last class, right? And we did a number of concepts in the agriculture. Okay, we in the last class, if I talk about, we discussed the productivity, what is meant by productivity. We discussed the agriculture efficiency. We discussed the intensity, right? The productivity regions of India. Okay, all these concepts we discussed in the last class. Okay, so today's topic, so this is the, if you have not watched those or cleared those topics, you go back and watch the lecture number 11. So today is the lecture number 12, and we are going to discuss the following topics. Okay, let us see this thing only. The second part of the agriculture, and the first, we said that we will be covering the enhancement programs productivity enhancement programs. And in the productivity enhancement programs, what we are going to cover is the first is the green revolution. Okay, the part of this will be the green revolution scheme. Okay, we will discuss the green revolution, discuss the white revolution, we will discuss the blue revolution, and we will also discuss in brief about the yellow revolution. Okay, so these four revolutions we will discuss in the productivity enhancement programs. Okay, the second topic would be the scheme of regionalization. Okay, there are different schemes of regionalization in agriculture that we will be covering. The third aspect is the irrigation. Although when we discussed the water resources, we covered a lot of topics of the irrigation, but here also we will cover the irrigation from the perspective of agriculture. And the fourth topic that we will be covering is the fertilizer patterns, utilization pattern of fertilizers in India, right? This is also important one. And the fifth one is the seed sector. Okay, we will discuss about the seed sector in India. So this is the part 2 of agriculture, and these are the topics that we will try to cover. So without delay, let us start with the first topic, that is the productivity enhancement, and in that first topic will be the green revolution. Okay, so the first topic is green revolution. India launched green revolution in 1966-67. Okay, and it is a productivity enhancement program. It was launched in the backdrop of the drought which India suffered, and due to this there was food crisis in this decade in India. There was food crisis, and this food crisis led us India to go to US and beg for wheat under PL 480. We have to literally go to US and ask for food under the PL 480 scheme of this thing, USA. Okay, so this was a humiliation, I will say humiliation for India, that when you cannot just protect your sovereignty, it has come to the food. This is the worst humiliation. So because of this, India undertook the green revolution program, and the green revolution had earlier succeeded in Mexico and Philippines. So it is not just that India was the first country to undertook the green revolution. It had earlier succeeded in Mexico, Argentina, Philippines. Okay, and it was the program which was based on the technology developed by the Norman Borlaug. Okay, this person was given the Nobel Prize in 1970. Okay, Nobel Prize was also given to this person, and the technology was developed by Rockefeller Institute. Rockefeller Institute. Okay, and in India, if you ask me, in case of India, we started the program first as the IADP, Integrated Area Development Program. Sorry, Integrated Agriculture Development Program. Integrated Agriculture Development Program. right? Which was, and this name was later changed to Integrated Agriculture Area Program. Not integrated, Intensive Agriculture Area Program. Intensive Agriculture Area Program. Okay, which later on became the HYV program, High Yielding Variety Program. High Yielding Variety Program. So this is the talent of Indians, that how frequently they change the name without any substance. But this is not, this second part, that is substance, is not true here, talking sarcastically. But yes, the green revolution produced the results. Okay, it increased the productivity substantially, that we will discuss in the outcome part. So this was the background. This was actually the background, that how and why, what compulsions did we face, that we have to launch the green revolution program, and how we started, and who was the person who invented this technology. But in case of India, this program was carried forward by MS Swaminathan. This person is responsible for executing this program in India. Okay, so this is background. Now, what is the strategy that we adopted? Let us discuss first of all, that's the strategy that we had to adopt to uh, implement the green revolution. So strategy, let us discuss the strategy for this thing. Strategy that we adopted to implement the green revolution program. The first part of the strategy was that the first part was that we just gave or replaced the old traditional technology, replaced all traditional technologies with the modern technologies, right? And in this we adopted like the modern qualities of the seeds, the fertilizers, farm mechanizations, whether it is the fertilizers, okay, pesticides, okay, mechanization, okay, whether it is the modern seeds. So all the new farm technologies were adopted, and these traditional technologies were sure to be replaced. Okay, this was the first part. Okay, and this thing had a negative impact that we will discuss in a minute, but this was the first strategy. Okay, the second strategy that we adopted was the deliberate imbalance based strategy. Now, why I am saying it was a deliberate imbalance based strategy, because the program was not implemented spatially equally across the India. Okay, the spatial aspect was neglected. Spatial aspect was neglected, but there was a reason for introducing this deliberate imbalance based concept. Why this deliberate imbalancement was adopted? Because the Punjab and Haryana region, they were selected for the green revolution implementation. Okay, now why these regions were selected? Because of the few reasons. Number one was the large land holding here, large land holding. So land holding size was large, so mechanization and new technology adoption was easy in the Punjab Haryana region, right? The second was the risk taking nature of the farmers in this belt. Farmers in Punjab region, right? Second, this was the second region. Okay. Number three, why this region was selected for this? The developed irrigation system. This region has a history of irrigation canals in this region. So irrigation system was already developed in this region. That's why this region was selected. Okay. So what we saw here, that we adopted the two strategy. Number one was all modern scientific methods were adopted for doing the agriculture, whether it was fertilizers, pesticide, mechanization, modern seeds. Okay, exotic seeds were adopted. Okay, for the this for the implementation of green revolution. Second was the deliberate imbalance based strategy. That means we implemented the program, green revolution program, first in Punjab Haryana region very intensively. We other no The main reason for this was because India at this time was suffering from food crisis, right? And what was our main focus? Food crisis. That our main focus was somehow to get over this food crisis. Our main focus was to produce enough to feed our population, to feed our this was our main focus. Okay, so we did not think so much about whether to implement program in Odisha and Assam. We just need to have more food so that we can feed our population, and do not need to borrow the wheat under the PL 480 from the US. So this was the main target. So we deliberately adopted this imbalance based strategy. Okay, and it was adopted first in Punjab Haryana region, and then gradually the program was expanded, that we will see. Okay, now these were the two main strategies, right? Now what were the outcomes of adoption of these strategies? Now let us discuss the outcomes. Number one, that by and large India became food sufficient within few years. That India became not only food sufficient, not only just food sufficient, but we became a food surplus country. Okay, not just food surplus country, but in many commodities we became the number one producer, like vegetables, fruits, right? Milk. So there were number of commodities in which we became number one producer, food sufficient. Okay, so this was the first outcome, the positive outcome. The second outcome of the program was the enhancement of productivity. The productivity increased 4 to 5 times in many crops. Okay, 4 to 5 times. This was the increase in productivity for many crops. Okay, whether it is rice, wheat, sugarcane, millets, right? This was the second achievement of the program, enhancement of productivity. The third achievement of the program was infrastructure development. Okay, modern methods of doing agriculture. Okay, these were the productivity mission. Okay, so modern methods of doing agriculture were adopted. Okay, and because of these modern methods, number of additional number of additional sectors developed, whether it was the seed sector. Okay, whether it was the, let us say, the mechanization happened. And because of this mechanization, demand for tractors increased. So again automation sector got boom. The fertilizer sector developed. So and these sectors has had positive externalities and provided huge employment, right? So this was the infrastructure development and how this had positive externality, okay, with other sectors, right? And the most another achievement that gave the that green revolution gave to us, that self confidence. It is very important, okay? Because of green revolution, our confidence boost up, okay? And this confidence, gave us a sense of pride, gave us a sense that we can tide over any crisis, that we can tide over any type of crisis. So this was the fourth achievement of the program. Next was the achievement in the social sector. So in social sector, now because of income enhancement in rural areas, income enhancement in rural areas, the expansion of health and education happened. Health and education, okay. The health and education expanded in the rural areas, and this led to many positive effects like reduction in malnutrition, reduction in mmr, okay, malnutrition, okay. Along with this income improvement, there was a migration towards cities, migration towards cities, okay, for earning more money. So all these were the social impact of the green revolution. So we did the five positive effects of the green revolution here, okay, that how it enhanced the productivity, right? India became food sufficient surplus country, infrastructure development, and how it had positive externalities with other sectors, self confidence boost up, and the income enhancement and effect in the rural areas. So this was the positive outcomes of the green revolution. Now the green revolution was associated with many negative impacts, okay. So we must now do the what were the negatives of the green revolution, okay. So what were the negatives of the green revolution? Now what were the negatives of the green revolution? First of all, the excessive subsidies, excessive subsidies which were given, whether it was for fertilizer, okay, whether it was for the electricity, okay, or whether it is the pricing policy in the form of msp pricing policy, like msp. These all factors, these all subsidies had today turned out to be very negative for agriculture in this belt, green revolution belt, because these subsidies had affected the agriculture, traditional agriculture pattern has been affected, traditional agricultural pattern has been affected, okay, traditional agriculture pattern. And this traditional effect of this is that, for example, in Haryana Punjab region become a monoculture region, okay, monoculture, most of the region the wheat is cultivated, okay. Because of this, the soil, this became the main reason for the land degradation in this region. So the land degradation, now along with this what happened, that we introduced the exotic species, okay. We introduced the exotic species of seeds, which were not suitable for this area. So this led to the erosion of genetic diversity in this region. Okay, and because of erosion of the genetic diversity, this belt became prone to many other negatives, and these negatives were the constant constant crop failures, okay, pest attacks like the fly attack, and many other, right? So this big region became very prone to crop failures, genetic diversity got erosion, okay, जेनेटिक डाइवर्सिटी रोड हो गई. उसके बाद मोनोकल्चर अडॉप्ट कर लिया गया, जिसकी वजह से लैंड डिग्रेड हो गई. ओके, ये सभी नेगेटिव्स थे ग्रीन रिवॉल्यूशन के. इकोलॉजिकली अगर देखें तो अभी रीजनल पर्सपेक्टिव से देखें यदि, इफ यू टॉक फ्रॉम द रीजनल पर्सपेक्टिव, green revolution was adopted in the Punjab Haryana belt and UP, western UP, but other regions were neglected. Other regions were neglected, right? Now this neglect led to what? The regional disparities. Regional disparities. Okay. Punjab Haryana region became developed. Eastern India region became underdeveloped. So there were wide scale income differences between the different regions of India because of this deliberate imbalancement strategy. And then we are not able to correct this deliberate imbalancement strategy. In addition to this, regional perspective, regional increase in the regional disparities, the large farmers became rich. Large farmers became richer while small and marginal farmers could not get benefits of this program. Okay, so this was the regional perspective and how the capitalist system developed in the agriculture, which affected the small and marginal farmers, while the larger farmers were less affected and more insured against many other negatives of the green revolution, right? So this was the third, sorry, problem of the green revolution. Now see, what we have seen is that what were the schemes adopted in the green revolution. Okay, okay, what were the positives of the green revolution? We saw the positive of the green revolution here. Okay, in the India became food sufficient, productivity enhancement, infrastructure develop करना, उसके बाद we become self confident, income enhancement in the rural areas, then migration towards the cities. Okay, development of new technologies, etc. Anything can be, these things can be written. उसके बाद कुछ ग्रीन रिवॉल्यूशन के नेगेटिव इफेक्ट्स थे. सबसे पहले हमने इकोलॉजिकल इफेक्ट्स देखे, दैट what were the negative effects of these subsidies that we okay started giving. Okay, उसके बाद हमने how the genetic diversity got erosion. ओके, जेनेटिक डाइवर्सिटी के ऊपर जो नेगेटिव इफेक्ट था ग्रीन रिवॉल्यूशन का. उसके बाद द इफेक्ट ऑफ द ग्रीन रिवॉल्यूशन ऑन द रीजनल पर्सपेक्टिव. ओके, that how the some regions were neglected and some regions were overemphasized. This led to the regional disparities. And another fact was that the large farmers were more insured, they became rich, where the small and the marginal farmers could not get much benefits out of this program. And sectoral wise, if you see that this program neglected, another negative can also be written, that this program neglected the comparative advantage of India. Comparative advantage of India. Now, what was the comparative advantage? We could have no adopted the same program for pulses very early. Maize, these crops were neglected. Maize, bajra, okay, and the result was that the net sown area for these crops decreased. Okay, and this decrease in net sown area for these crops has its own negatives, which are seen today's agriculture. So these kind of the negative effects of the green revolution can be done, whether it is from the regional perspective, regions पे क्या effect हुआ, okay, ecologically green revolution का क्या effect हुआ, how the land was degraded, how the water level, groundwater level decreased. This led to salinization, alkalinization in the Haryana Punjab region. Many types of the land were rendered completely infertile, जिन पे कोई भी खेती नहीं की जा सकती. They can just be utilized for now the कंक्रेटाइजेशन, उसके ऊपर बस अर्बन सिटीज ही डेवलप की जा सकती हैं. उसके बाद रीजनल पर्सपेक्टिव से हमने देखा कि कैसे डिस्पैरिटीज डेवलप की, और एक एडिशनल पॉइंट्स जो हमने लिखा अभी बाद में कि कैसे हमने अपनी कंपैरेटिव जो एडवांटेजेस थी हमारी पल्सेस के अंदर, मेज, बाजरा, जवार एटसेट्रा, ओके, जो कोआर्स ग्रेन्स जिनको बोला जाता है, उन कोआर्स ग्रेन की जो हमारी जो एक कंपैरेटिव एडवांटेज थी वो हमने लगभग खो दी प्रोग्राम के अंदर. उन पे कोई ध्यान नहीं दिया गया, और उनका जो एरिया था, उनके अंदर जो भी पहले एरिया कल्टीवेट किया जाता था वो एरिया शार्प डिक्लाइन किया उसके अंदर. So these were the negatives. Now the question arises, we had no counted a number of problems, but problem is the problem unless a solution is suggested for this. So we must have some solution for the problem. Okay, now what are the solution for this problem that we now are repeatedly saying? So the solution for this problem is, number one, that we must adopt the, और सबसे जो इम्पोर्टेंट सॉल्यूशन होगा, लेट अस करेक्ट फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल द इम्बैलेंस में, करेक्ट द रीजनल इम्बैलेंस. ओके, और रीजनल इम्बैलेंस को करेक्ट करने का सबसे पहला जो हमारा तरीका है, और गवर्नमेंट ने भी उसे अडॉप्ट करने की कोशिश की है, दैट वाज ऑफिशियली यदि कहें ब्रिंगिंग ग्रीन रिवॉल्यूशन टू ईस्टर्न इंडिया. दिस वन, ब्रिंगिंग ग्रीन रिवॉल्यूशन टू ईस्टर्न इंडिया. ओके, now under this program we are targeting to improve the productivity of, to improve the productivity of rice as the first ranking crop, right, plus enhance the income of the local farmers, enhance the local farmers income by the diversification of agriculture, income by agriculture diversification. Now what can be the components of diversification in eastern region? The best components can, now in eastern region, can be the PC culture. Okay, PC culture. Other can be the cattle farming. Okay, small industries, small and micro industries based on the forest. Okay, so there can be number of schemes that can be adopted for agriculture enhancement in this region, in the eastern India, that we are saying. So the first thing that we said, we have to correct the imbalance that we deliberately adopted in the green revolution scheme of things, right? This is the first step that we have to adopt, right? The second important step that we can adopt here, so let us talk about the second part, is the we have to implement the micro irrigation schemes, implement the micro irrigation methods. Right. Now, in micro irrigation methods, the methods like sprinkler irrigation, methods like drip irrigation. Okay. And when the fertilizer is mixed with this type of irrigation practice, when we mix the fertilizer with this irrigation practice, this become more effective. Okay, the application of fertilizer in the crop become more effective, and this method is called as the fertigation. Right. For example, let us say these are the crop here. Okay, these are the crops here, and we have planted these in a row. Now what we did, that we laid down the pipelines here. Okay, pipelines of the water, these small pipes, and this is the main pipe here. Okay, the water will come from here and flow in these small pipes. Okay, and the water will be applied to the roots of the crop in the amount that is required. Okay, proper sensors will be fitted in these pipes that will keep up the water level as required by the crops. So this is also the part of, you are just implementing the modern methods of technology. You are, watching the field water level, groundwater level, the salinization and other parameters using the satellites. Okay, you have planted this what is called as these sensors here. Okay, to manage the parameters of the crop like water. You are applying the fertilizer at the root of the crop. These all methods fall under the precision agriculture. So we have to adopt what is called as the precision agriculture. Okay. Okay, so this is the second method that we must follow to correct our wrongs during that we committed during the green revolution program. Now coming on to the third solution. The third solution is the organic farming. Organic farming. See, the excessive application of the fertilizers had destroyed the conditions of the land. Okay, land has degraded, and what is the condition of the land in Punjab, Haryana, Western UP is in front of everyone. So the organic farming, which is done with the natural resources, which is done with the natural resources like cow dung is used as a fertilizer. Okay, you use the crop waste for mulching purpose, so that the mulching purpose, so that the moisture can be preserved, right? So these kind minimum tillage of the field. Okay, so that the soil flora, soil fauna is not disturbed. Okay, so these are the methods that can be adopted for organic farming, and Sikkim became the first organic state of India. Sikkim became the first organic state of India, right? So this is the third method that we can adopt to correct our wrongs during the green revolution. And the next method that we should adopt is and that must be a mandatory thing, right? If we want to correct all the wrongs, That is the eco agriculture. We have to start practicing eco agriculture. Now what is this eco agriculture? That means we just are not focused on the economy of agriculture. Okay, that means the agriculture productivity, that means the agriculture productivity and the conservation of nature will go side by side. So we cannot neglect any of these. If we want to increase the productivity, we cannot sacrifice the nature. Okay, and this will ultimately help us preserving the biodiversity, right? So this is the method of the eco agriculture. Okay, that you conserve the nature also if you want to increase the productivity. Okay, so these are the methods that we should adopt to correct the green revolution problems. Okay, you have to you know change this regional imbalance, correct it. You can give the example of BGREI. The second one is the micro irrigation methods, precision agriculture, organic farming, and the fourth one is the eco agriculture, right? So this was the green revolution in detail. One aspect of the green revolution, let us cover that also, although that should be discussed the first part, but okay, I forgot that. Let us make a map here, that how the green revolution spread in India. Okay, so this was the Punjab Haryana region which was selected as the core region for the green revolution. So this was the core region which was selected, and the program here started in 1966-67, and this was the phase 1 of the program. This was the phase 1 of the program, and this stretched up to 1975-76. Okay, this was the first phase of the program. In the second phase, and in the first phase, basically we were mainly focused on the wheat productivity. Okay, so mainly the wheat seeds were planted in this region, in the Haryana Punjab region. The second phase of the green revolution was basically undertaken in these regions, in the delta regions of the east coast. Along with that, the adjoining region of the first green revolution, the first phase of the green revolution. Okay, so along with this and this part. Okay, so these were the phase 2 part of the green revolution, phase 2. And phase 2 started from 1976-77. It went up to 1985-86. Okay, and it was mainly the rice cultivation phase. Okay, so modern varieties of the rice seeds were introduced in the second phase, right? And in the third phase, phase number 3, the green revolution was no, it spread to the other parts of India from these regions. Along with that, the other productivity enhancement program after 1985 were also undertaken. Now, which were these? Whether it was the yellow revolution, it was the white revolution, okay, it was the blue revolution. So these programs were also undertaken. So this was the spatial analysis. Okay, this map can be made, right? So this was the detailed analysis of the green revolution. So we started with the how the we adopted the strategies, what strategies we adopted. Okay, the deliberate imbalance strategy and the mechanization strategies. Then we discussed the second part, that is the outcomes. Then we five outcomes that we discussed: productivity enhanced, infrastructure developed, confidence boost, and the income improvement and its positive effects. Then we discussed the negative effects. Okay, what were the negative effects? The excessive subsidies and the regional perspective that we gave. And the third one, the last most important again, is the what can we do again now to correct the problem. Okay, so we suggested some solution, although other solutions can be suggested. For example, one solution that can also be suggested is the current farm legislations. Okay, these farm legislations are also step in the direction of modernization of agriculture, whether it is with respect to the mundane infrastructure that the bill tries to cater to, okay, or whether it is with respect to the tariff correction, okay, that the farm bills and these farm legislations are trying to cater to. So these can also be the part of your solution. So these are the solutions that we discussed, and the finally the spatial perspective, and the last part, that how the green revolution started and how it proceeded in India. So this was the complete detailed discussion of the green revolution. Okay, so let us discuss the second program, and the second program, productivity enhancement program, is the white revolution. The second program is the white revolution. Okay, so before discussing the white revolution, let us discuss some facts, right, about the livestock of India. Some facts with regard to the livestock of India. Fact number one is that India has the highest number of cattle. The livestock population, India has second, not highest, second highest livestock. And guess who is the first one? The first one is Brazil. So after Brazil, we are the second one in terms of the number of cattle. Okay, cows and buffaloes. Okay, so India has, if you know, take in, or in terms of number of figures, 14% cows and auction and 57% of buffaloes. This is the number. Okay, in India. The second important fact with regard to the livestock is the number of cows. If you see the number of cows and auctions, they are highest in UP. Sorry, not UP, MP. They are highest in MP. After MP, it is UP. After UP, it is West Bengal, and then it is Maharashtra. Okay, so this is the sequence of the number of cows and auctions in decreasing sequence. Okay, fact number three is with regard to the number of buffaloes. Number of buffaloes. So buffaloes are highest in UP. After UP, Rajasthan. After Rajasthan, it is Andhra Pradesh. After Andhra Pradesh, it is Gujarat. Okay, so this is the sequence, decreasing sequence of number of buffaloes state wise, right? And if you see the contribution of this sector in GDP, okay, the animal husbandry, let us broaden it, animal husbandry plus pisciculture husbandry, sorry, plus pisciculture, these together contribute to 29.7% of agri GDP. Okay, agriculture GDP. And if you see their number, that means agriculture plus pisciculture number in the GDP, entire GDP of the country, it is the 4.10% of, oh no, gross GDP. Let us say it gross GDP. Okay, so this is the contribution of the animal husbandry and pisciculture. Okay, now importance, if you see the importance of these livestock, let us say what is the importance of these livestock resources. The importance is these are the main source of protein for Indian population, main source of protein for Indian population. Why? Because Indian population is largely vegetarian, and for vegetarian population the most of demand of protein is fulfilled from either meat or the eggs and the milk, right? So number one is, this is the first importance. The second one is the for leather and wool industry. Okay, this is also a very important industry in India. So the livestock, no, sources are resources are important for this industry. Number three is the biofertilizer, okay, and biomanure that is produced from the dung of these animals. Okay, so this is the importance that this sector carries. Now for this we had to take some measures so that we can enhance the productivities of these animals, right? So this is what we, that's why we started with the white revolution program. And the white revolution program was again implemented in three phases, right? So the, let us begin with it. Okay, so it was implemented in three phases. Phase number one, this phase started from Gujarat, okay, and the main areas in Gujarat was the Anand district. And by seeing the success of Anand district, government constituted National Dairy Development Board. Right. Now, this board was given the responsibility to expand the White Revolution. So, in the first phase, the target was to include the 10 states, okay, under the program. Okay, this was the first phase of the program. Okay, and it started with the Anand district. Then it included other districts like Kheda, okay, and the other Sabarmati River, along the district which are along the Sabarmati River, right? So this was the first phase of the Green Revolution. In the second phase, the scope of the program was further expanded. In phase number 2, which was launched in 1980-81. So the phase 1 was started in the 1970, right? The phase 2 started in 1980-81. Okay, and the target of phase 2 was to expand the white revolution to 18 states with and to cities and to the cities with population more than 1 lakh, with population more than 1 lakh. So this was the target of the second phase of the green revolution, right? Now moving on to the third phase of the green revolution, phase number 3. It was launched in 1985, okay, and it lasted till 1996-97. Okay, let us keep it this, okay, and it included all the states plus union territories, all states plus union territories, and the main target was here to produce 1 lakh, to produce, sorry, not 1 lakh, 1 crore liter, to produce 1 crore liter of milk every day, right? So this was the main target here, and in this phase India emerged as the largest producer. In this phase India emerged as the largest producer of milk, as the largest producer of milk. Now, by seeing the different phases of the program, if you see the different phase of the program, you know, the general guess, it seems that it was a better implemented program than the green revolution, okay, more universally across the India, okay. The more focus was on, do not creating the regional imbalances as they were created in the green revolution. So it was a more balanced based program, but still, even that much after that much focus, there were still certain imbalances, and these imbalances were most seen in case of the Eastern India. As happened with the Eastern India, okay, in the green revolution program also, the same thing happened with the Eastern India in case of white revolution also. But in case of green revolution, see, in case of green revolution, it was the man-made imbalancement that was created, but in case of white revolution, the the imbalancement or the less productivity that happened in the Eastern India was mainly because of natural resources. Now, why natural? I'm saying that in why natural resources, because Eastern India is humid region, okay, and humid region is not good for the cattle productivity. For cattle productivity, many reasons are there for this, okay. Number one is the, in humid region there are more chances of cattle contracting disease, okay. This is the number one problem number two is with regard to the fodder. The fodder quality in humid regions is also very poor, okay. This was the first reason, and the second reason was the population density. The population density in eastern region is high, and because of the high population density, the area for fodder cultivation, the area for fodder cultivation could not be provided. This, okay, this also led to a big problem of fodder cultivation in eastern India, okay. And the third problem in the eastern India was the, since the eastern India is less urbanized as compared to the western India, so because of this the demand of milk was less, so demand of milk was less in this region. So this was the second point that led to the creation of imbalancement in the white revolution also, okay. सो ईस्टर्न इंडिया के केस में भी वही हुआ, फिर से व्हाइट रिवॉल्यूशन के अंदर नेग्लेक्ट हो गया, लेकिन यहाँ पे कुछ नेचुरल फैक्टर्स रहे बजाय कि मैन मेड फैक्टर्स जो कि ग्रीन रिवॉल्यूशन के अंदर आ गए थे, राइट। ना। लेकिन हमने ईस्टर्न इंडिया की तो बात कर ली कि भाई ईस्टर्न इंडिया के अंदर कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स थी, लाइक ह्यूमिडिटी की प्रॉब्लम, पॉपुलेशन डेंसिटी की प्रॉब्लम, लेस अर्बनाइजेशन की प्रॉब्लम। सो वेस्टर्न इंडिया के अंदर जो एरियाज थे जिनके अंदर नो काफी सक्सेस रहा। ओके, सो द प्रोग्राम वाज मोर सक्सेसफुल इन द स्टेट्स लाइक गुजरात। व्हाई इन स्टेट लाइक गुजरात? Good quality of fodder. Reason simple: good quality of fodder. Good quality of fodder plus more urbanization. Okay. Similarly, in case of Haryana, the same reason can be said, that nearness to Delhi plus good quality of fodder. Good quality of fodder plus nearness to Delhi. So good demand of the milk. So these were the reasons, whether it was Gujarat, whether it was Haryana, whether it was Western UP, the same reason: quality of fodder plus nearness to Delhi. In case of Madhya Pradesh, good quality of fodder is the main reason. In case of the one reason, like in case of Rajasthan, more particularly in the Hanumangarh and Ganganagar district, in Ganganagar plus Hanumangarh district. Now, what were the reasons for the success in these areas? Number one, again, the good quality fodder. Good quality fodder plus these regions had traditionally kept the animals for the milk, right? So this was the main reasons where the white revolution got more success, right? So we saw the some areas where it got less success, some areas where it got more success, right? So this was about the white revolution, right? But along with this, let us also say that one more problem of this green revolution, white revolution, the one more problem was the erosion of indigenous breed. Okay, what happened in the white revolution? For enhancing the productivity, we introduced exotic cattle species. Okay, and we introduced the species like Holstein, okay, Jersey. So these species of the cow were introduced, but these are not the domestic or indigenous breed. So the indigenous breed, they no they were not used for white revolution. Okay, so this is the problem that got created because of our adoption of these new species, the Holstein Jersey cows. These are not the Indian breed, right? These are mostly the European breed. These are the steppe region breeds, right? But for correcting this problem also, government introduced a scheme, that is the Rashtriya Gokul Mission, right? Australia Gokul Mission. And the main target of this mission is to revive the indigenous breed of the cattle. To revive the indigenous breed of cattle. So this is the main target of this program, right? So we have done the white revolution also, and what we discussed in the white revolution, let us see once more from the beginning. First of all, we said that some facts with regard to the white revolution. Okay, what is the contribution of white revolution in terms of the agri GDP, gross GDP, which state has the highest cattle and auction, which state has the highest buffalo, the importance of the livestock and the pisciculture, whether it is with this to protein fulfillment, okay, leather and wool industry, and biofertilizer and biomanure. Then how the white revolution proceeded in India, starting from Anant Kheda district, right? Then from 1981, second phase, the third phase, where India emerged as the largest producer of milk. Then why the Eastern India had the less productivity despite being the focus given to the Eastern India. And we said some regions here, humidity, population density, and less urbanization. Okay. Then we said the regions which had more success, what was the different in those regions. We listed some factors with regard to that as well. And the final thing that we said was this thing that why this erosion of indigenous breed was problem. Okay. And what is the government doing to revive the indigenous breeds, that is the Rashtriya Gokul mission, right? So this is the white revolution, second productivity enhancement program, right? Moving on to the next productivity enhancement program. So the next productivity enhancement program was the blue revolution. Okay, the third topic is the blue revolution. Now in blue revolution, it was again a productivity enhancement program for the productivity enhancement program. Okay, and it was launched in the seventh 5-year plan, right? Seventh 5-year plan in 1985, basically. Okay, in 1985, right? And it had the two components, although let us list both the components here. It had two components. The component number one was the marine fishery, the marine fishing, or the marine fish production. Let us write in this manner: marine fish production. And the second component was the freshwater fish production. Freshwater fish production. So these were the two components of the program. Okay, in the marine fish program, marine fish production, our main focus was on the species of fish like salmon, okay, uh, catfish, sardine. So these were the main focus. Okay, these species of the fish. Plus, along with this, the other exotic species like lobsters, crab, oysters, because these are in very high demand in the foreign markets. They are consumed at very high price in the foreign markets. Okay, so this was the focus in the marine fish production side. In the freshwater fish production, our main focus was on the fishes like katla, tengda, hilsa, right, etc. So there were other species also in the freshwater fish, but these are the main species of the freshwater fish, right? Now, what was the strategy that was adopted by the government? The strategies were, let us discuss first of all, few of the steps that were taken. So the steps taken were, first of all, number of fishing harbors were established. Number of modern fishing harbors were established. So first step, you can write the number of modern fishing harbors were established, and these include like Kochi. You can remember few names: Kochi, Kandla, Visakhapatnam. Okay, you can remember the Port Blair, Porbandar, Port Blair, Porbandar. Right. So these were the fishing harbors that were established, and the second focus was on the number of institutions were established. Number of modern institutions were established. Right. And let us mention few of the institutions that were established during this program, during the execution of the Blue Revolution program. Okay, number one was the freshwater fish for freshwater fishery, for freshwater fisheries. The research institution was established at Barakpur in Kolkata. Right. For the for marine fisheries, the institution was established at Mumbai and the Mandam. Sorry, Mandapam. Mandapam is in Tamil Nadu. Okay. And let us write one more: Central Fishery Research Center. Central Fisheries Research Center. It was established at Mumbai. Right. So these were the research institutions that were established. So you see, the main focus was on the research institutions and the modern harbors that were established during the program. Now let us write few outcomes that we achieved during the program. So outcomes were that the productivity, okay, it increased 6%. There was 6% increase in fish production. 6% increase in fish production, okay, as compared to pre blue revolution time. Pre blue revolution. Okay, so pre blue revolution means before 1985. Before 1980 there was 6% increase after 1985, within a decade. Okay, the second achievement of the outcome of the blue revolution was that India became the second largest fish producer after China. India became second largest fish producer, okay, after China. And the third one is Peru in the South America, right? And the next output, if you see, third output is the with regard to the shrimp farming. Okay, the Asia's largest shrimp farming ground, Asia's largest shrimp farming ground, was established in Nellore, Andhra Pradesh. In Nellore, Andhra Pradesh, right? And the next outcome that you can write, that within a decade there was 20% increase in fish export, in the fish export. So these were the outcomes that we mentioned. Okay, the first one is the fish production, 6% increase, second largest fish producer after China. Shrimp farming, the largest Asia's shrimp farming ground in Nellore, and the 20% increase in the fish export, right? Now along with this, let us analyze the state-wise production of the fisheries. State-wise production of fisheries. That means in case of the state-wise, if you see, both, including both freshwater as well as the marine fisheries, Andhra Pradesh is the largest producer. Andhra Pradesh is the largest producer of fishes. After Andhra Pradesh, we have West Bengal. Right. After West Bengal, Gujarat. And after Gujarat, Tamil Nadu. Right. This is the total, in case of total. Now, when you see for marine fisheries, For marine fisheries, the largest producer is Gujarat. Largest producer is Gujarat. Right. After that, it is the Andhra Pradesh. Right. After Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra, and then Kerala. This is for marine fisheries, and for fresh fisheries, freshwater fisheries, for freshwater fish, the largest producer is Andhra Pradesh, followed by West Bengal. After that, UP, and then Bihar. Okay, so this is for the freshwater fisheries. Okay, so this is the state-wise discussion. Okay, can be asked in the prelims. This order, right? Now there were some problems also. What were the problem? Again, the program was not as successful as the White Revolution program was. Not as successful as White Revolution. Reason were many. The first the main reason was the neglect of freshwater fisheries. Okay, and the second reason was the program was hijacked by capitalist class. Okay, so the inclusion part, that means inclusion of the local community, was absent in this program also. Okay, now there was main reason why the capitalist community involved in this program. Number one, the high returns, because of export high returns, because of the export of exotic species. Number B was the requirement of capital, requirement of capital for marine fishery, for marine fisheries. So large capital was required for undertaking marine fishery, whether it is for having mechanized boats, okay, nets, and other advanced practices. So this program was hijacked by the capitalist class, so inclusion was again absent here. Okay, sorry. So these were the problems that were associated with the blue revolution program, and these were the state-wise contribution, and what were the outcomes of the program, what were the strategies adopted in the program. And okay, so this was the freshwater and the marine water that we thought of initially, okay, and when it was started. So this was the detailed discussion on the blue revolution. Okay, it has been 1 hour 13 minutes. Okay, and we started with the white revolution. We thought that we will cover these topics, but if we start with the even when no now we start with the regionalization. Regionalization is again a big topic, and the irrigation, this will not take much time. This fertilizer one, again, it is also small, for 14-15 minutes. On the seed sector, this question will also be completed in 15 minutes. So this 15 minutes. Irrigation will also take more, not just than 15 minutes, and regionalization, it may take 30 or 35 minutes. So another 1 hour is required for finishing these 5 topics. So we cannot complete it today, so we will cover these topics in the lecture number 13. Okay, so in the next class, lecture number 13, we will start with the regionalization or other topics. Let us do the regionalization in the end, because it is a big topic. First we will start with the irrigation. Okay, then we will do the fertilizers. Okay, after that we will do the seed sector. Okay, and then we will start with the regionalization, agriculture regionalization. Okay, so this will be the topic of the next class. Okay, again the part of agriculture, because agriculture is big topic. Okay, so this will be covered in the next class. And one request before leaving the platform, please subscribe the channel, because I am now doing every topic in very detail, and you will not find videos on YouTube in this manner. No videos on the YouTube. So please subscribe the channel and do like the video. So thank you, and we will continue with the next class this with these topics. Okay, so thank you.